Good morning, my Telechurch family. Hope this message I bring to you today finds you well on this glorious sunny day, as Cindy reminded us earlier. Isn't that an unusual word, telechurch? And what does it mean? If we look at what we are doing today, right now, we can define telechurch as worshiping together separately. And that is such a simple way to put such a complicated process. Now, I won't even go into the production side of bringing a single worship service to many people in many different places. Let's talk instead about what it takes for you all, our congregation, to come together for worship separately. First, we have the logistics of it all, which is not unlike most Sundays. You're waking up, getting cleaned up, eating breakfast, and putting on your Sunday best. Because I know there's nobody out there in their PJs this morning, right? But if you're okay with that, God is too, because God takes you as you are. You then have to set up your computer or smart TVs and get ready to join our service. But this is where it changes for all of us. There was no warm smile at the door when you came in, no one handing you a bulletin, no one to hug and remind me how much you were missed since the last time you were worshiping together. But that all is fluff, right? It's fluff because you can still be present for the service without all of that from the comfort of your home. You see, Jesus is with you no matter if you are here at the Church of the Holy Comforter, your house, or the Holy Land itself. He is always with you. He is with us. But you may still feel like you are missing something. And you are. You and I are missing the recognition of Jesus in the breaking of the bread. Prior to the pandemic of COVID-19, you would see Cindy raise the host above her head and quietly break it. For us, it is a symbolic act, but as you just heard in the story of the road to Emmaus, for Cleopas and the other disciple, they witnessed Jesus take the bread and break it. And just as they then recognized Jesus, so do you. But isn't Jesus with you even when we don't have the Eucharist? Yes. Jesus is with you in all of our worship services, even those that do not have the Eucharist. But that is easy. Of course he is with us in our worship services. But I'm here to tell you he is alive and breathing outside of them also. Right now, who has a story they can tell about someone they know who is performing charity work or making face masks or simply praying for others during this pandemic? Those acts are Jesus here and now. But sometimes we all get bogged down, just as Cleopas and the other disciple did, and fail to see Jesus. If you recall from the reading, Cleopas and the other disciple are downtrodden and meet Jesus on the way to Emmaus. Jesus listens to their troubles, then goes on to remind them of scriptures foretelling of these very events. But during all of this, neither of them recognized Jesus. How was that? He was walking with them and talking with them. By all accounts, he was a living, breathing person. But they did not see him for who he was. Was this because they were so consumed by their grief, or because their eyes had been shielded from Jesus' glory? It is only later during the breaking of the bread where their eyes opened and they then recognized Jesus. Karen Shu, a psychologist from McGill University in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, explains it best when she writes, "This incident, failing to recognize the Lord until he broke bread with them, shows more clearly than ever what a certain kind of perception was required, not to see the Lord in his glorified body, but to recognize who he was. So it is obvious that his body was real and solid enough, and their natural senses were not deceived. But still, the quality of the man they met did not register until something highly significant in their lives took place. And this was his symbolic act of breaking bread. And that, my friends, explains so many things in so few words. Jesus is here. He is whole and he is healed. And you can see that no matter if you see it in the act of making masks for a pandemic or the act of a child soothing a friend who has fallen down. Jesus is here. But if you do not always recognize he is here, that is okay. Jesus still walked and listened to Cleopas and the other disciple as they complained loudly about just how bad things were. And he will walk with you just the same, no matter if you acknowledge he is with you or not. Our church is participating in a fast from not only our normal worship routines, but also from the Eucharist. And just like any other fast, this fast has made us stop and reflect. It has made us think more about our worship services and how we can be better as we are together separately. More churches are working harder at connecting to their congregations through Zoom, FaceTime, Facebook Live, and other media. Choruses are singing from all different places, but are coming together, and people are praying more. And although it may be short-lived, social media is a place you want to go to instead of a place you go to. Jesus is here. Jesus is here because he said in Matthew chapter 18, verse 20, for where 2 or 3 gather in my name, there I am with them. Notice, Jesus did not qualify this statement by saying, I am only with you when you have the Eucharist. He only said, where 2 or 3 gather in my name. So as we are all together today, together separately, he is in our midst. Jesus is here. Amen.